Hi, my name's Phyllis June Phelps, Rick's wife. I know you're all familiar with Rick. He wanted me to do a video for the memory people, and well, for his website and stuff. I can tell you this is a first, and I'm a little nervous. Well, actually, it's my second because the first one didn't record, so I obviously messed that one up. Just wanted to give you a little bit of insight from my end of everything that's going on. Let's see, Rick and I noticed some changes probably about 6 years ago. Went to the doctor. Doctor, chalked it all up to, well, stress. Put him on some nerve medication, which he didn't take for very long. Because he's not a medicine taker, or never used to be anyway. Wouldn't even take a headache pill unless it was really bad headache. So we just noticed that toward I don't know, maybe February, March of last year, things started getting about the same as they was 6 years ago, but a little more obvious. And so Rick got a hold of our family doctor, went to the doctor, and he ran him through a whole battery of tests, a mini mental test, CAT scans, blood work. Didn't really come up with a whole lot, but he was concerned about the mini mental test. So he decided to send him over to a neurologist, which we went to that appointment June 30th of last year. And he, once again, all he did was the mini mental test because he had all the paperwork from the beginning of June when our doctor did, the blood test, CAT scan, and all that. The mini mental test lasted maybe 15-20 minutes. At the end of that is when he looked at both of us and diagnosed Rick with EOAD, early onset Alzheimer's disease. And, we just kind of stared at him like in shock. Never thought we would get any type of a diagnosis like that. He made an appointment to come back in December, and we just thought that was kind of ridiculous. December, why not the following month or, 2 months or something, It was like they weren't even really concerned, okay, we'll see you again in 6 months, and that's the end of it. Well, when Rick and I left there, we started talking about the diagnosis and a lot of the stuff we noticed that was different. It was noticeably different, and we started piecing some stuff together about, well, that's probably why back when this happened is probably why it did, that type of stuff. So, of course, we're both like in shock during this whole time, and so we get back home, and within a couple days, Rick started doing a lot of research on the computer. Got a hold of Alzheimers.org. There's a chapter up at, I believe, in Canton, and we got a caseworker who came down to the house, talked to us for a good 3 hours, and explained a lot in layman terms that we could understand. Now, we'd both been around Alzheimer's patients because we both run squad for like 24 years. So, I think with me was the whole denial thing because the Alzheimer patients, it seems like that I was around were your patients that you were transferring to the care center or to the hospital or back from the hospital to the care center or from home to a care center. And they were like in the late stages, obvious Alzheimer's. Rick really wasn't obvious like any of those, so I still was doing the denial thing. And our caseworker, she helped explain a lot of stuff to us, which then once again we started putting 2 and 2 together, and we could figure out why some of the stuff was going on that was going on. Rick was still working 24-hour shifts every 3 days. He would literally make himself sick the night before that he had to go to work the next morning, worrying, stressing himself out about what if I forget to do this or forget this address or I forget where I'm going type thing. And let's see, his last day of work was July 28th. He ran into some problems on a squad run. It was pretty traumatic and nothing that he did wrong. but it was that breaking point where he realized that he could not do it anymore because of the stress. And at that point in time, well, that was his last day of work, and we went back to the doctor, and he explained everything to the doctor, and he put himself, the doctor put him on some medications, and the neurologist that we went to, he put him on an Exelon patch, which is for Alzheimer's, to slow the progression down, and he's been on that ever since. Probably in about the middle of August, we filled out all the paperwork for Social Security disability, and that, it takes about 6 months to get that, but finally, toward the end of the year, he was approved for the disability. I guess, I wasn't real concerned about any of as far as the finances or anything. My main concern, along with Rick's, was what can we do? We need to get to the bottom line and make sure, because our local doctor that sent us to the neurologist, he wasn't real keen on that diagnosis either at first. And he said, well, I want to get you an appointment over in Columbus, which that was in September. We got the appointment, but it's not until November of 2011. So that was real disappointing. We are going to keep those appointments. He's on his medication. The doctor put him on some medication. He takes that twice a day. I notice some of this stuff, he forgets, and that is one of them. So I put his pills out, and I make sure he takes those before I go to work in the morning, because if he doesn't take them, they can sit right there beside him at the computer, or by his glass of water on the sink, and they're still sitting there when I get home at 5 o'clock at night because he forgot to take them. So I make sure he takes those before I leave. The nighttime medication, that's kind of simple because I take medicine at night, so I make sure he takes his when I take mine. The patch he wears, sometimes there's, I have to tell him 2 or 3 times with the patch, and then when he goes to put it on, I tell him to make sure takes the other one off that he had put on, the night before, because he's had a couple of them on it, 1 or 2 times since he's been on those. But, that's to be expected when you're not used to doing that kind of stuff. Rick, he can get a hold of me anytime he wants. I work 8 to 5, 5 days a week. I also run squad, usually a 12 or a 24-hour shift on the weekend. Anytime I need to, I can get a hold of him. Now, he'll call me at work or get a hold of me on the computer and tell me he's having a bad day, what medicine is it that he can increase, and that's all approved by the doctor for him to do that when he's having bad days. But he has to get a hold of me so he can find out which one of the medications that he can increase or take another half a pill of, or a whole one at that particular time. And so, like I said, he can get a hold of me anytime. I can get a hold of him anytime, either by cell phone, computer, or just call him here at the house. Sometimes when he's having a bad day, he gets himself all stressed out. I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that, and I just don't feel like it because he's a nervous wreck. I just tell him to, chill out, go sit on the couch, watch Fox News, get on the computer. Sometimes he'll go for a walk just to clear his head, and that seems to work pretty good. I try not to worry a whole lot because he knows to get a hold of me. If he goes anywhere, which is very rare that he goes anywhere without me, he'll run over to the store here in town, a small community. If he gets stressed out in the store or forgets what he went over there for or whatever, he'll just go out to the car and he'll just sit down until he gets himself calmed down. And anything in this small community is 3 or 4 blocks away from our house. So then he gets himself calmed down and he just comes back home then and just doesn't worry about it, or he'll go back to the store later. Every once in a while he'll leave to go take the grandkids to school or pick them up. They're well aware of what's going on too, so they're a big help. If he forgets to turn somewhere, they know where they're going or where they're supposed to be going. So that's a big help. Our daughter is a real big help. She calls him every day, checking on him, see if there's anything he needs. If he just wants to go out to breakfast, just to break up the monotony of being at the house, or go to lunch, or something like that. So that's a good thing too. There's just so many people that are very aware of what's going on. His sister, his cousin, they call him constantly, seeing how he's doing, to the point sometimes where he's just like, okay, I don't want to talk to anybody today, which that's okay too. That's his choice, and he can do that, if he chooses. I try not to let him know when I get worried or upset about something, because then that just upsets him more. A lot of mine at first was, the denial thing, like I said, but it's not. I got to get out of that mode. We just take day by day, and he does pretty good. He functions real good on his own right now. Not like he used to, obviously, but not to the point where I have to worry from the time I leave the house in the morning to go to work till when I come home in the evening. Because, like I said, we can get a hold of each other, and he does that. He'll call me, get a hold of me on the computer. If something's not right, he'll get a hold of me. And if I don't hear from him, I get a hold of him. Just checking, constantly checking on him to see, what's going on, if he's having a good day or a bad day. Basically everything, like I said, day at a time, and that's all we can do. I don't know if I told you at the beginning, I'm a little nervous about doing this, but if anybody, I'm not on the computer. I don't have a Facebook account or anything. I work on the computer 5 days a week, even on the weekends. Running squad, I'm on the computer, so I really don't have a Facebook account. Not the least on the computer, for me the better. So if anybody has any questions about what I do in this case or what I do in that case, you can always ask Rick. He'll let me know, and I can answer the questions. He'll let you know then. But hopefully maybe we can do this again if I get a little bit more calmed down about it. But I hope it's helped some of you, a lot of you. And like I said, if you have any questions, you can let Rick know. And I appreciate you listening, and I hope it has helped. Have a good evening, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.